Hey guys, welcome back to the second part of the engine swap series. As you can see, we're starting right where we left off with the engine and transmission outside of the car. And right now, me and my friend are removing the 5-speed automatic from the 2.3 liter engine. Which, speaking of the 5-speed automatic, man, I really wish I just manual swapped the car as well with the 2.5 swap because that 5-speed automatic is something else. It is cool because I learned that it is possible to do the 2.5 swap with the 5-speed automatic transmission. Every other forum I read for like info on the swap, they were mentioning how all their cars are manual and almost none were automatic. But it's still worse the automatic. My automatic transmission was kind of bad, and I don't think I properly installed the transmission back in place or the torque converter back in place when I first finished the swap. But I'll get more into that, in the last video. Um, anyways, that transmission was heavy as hell. It was incredibly heavy. Don't take it lightly, even though it's small. It's very heavy. So when you're doing this, just be very careful. Watch for your toes. I think in this I might be wearing Crocs, but yeah, don't don't worry about that. Me and my friend are still being very, very careful to make sure we don't drop it on ourselves. But removing the transmission was easy. You just have some bolts connecting the, I guess you'd call the bell housing to the backside of the 2.3. But getting to this point felt so achieving because we pretty much were at the halfway point. We got the engine separated, it's out of the car, it's ready to be taken apart. So in this video, we'll be taking the engine apart, the old engine apart, and we'll be taking its useful parts that we need for the conversion and putting it on the 2.5 so the 2.5 can go back in the car. Anyways, I really hope y'all enjoy this video. It is another great watch, and I will see y'all later. So great news, finally get that torque converter off. That kicked my butt last night because I didn't want to get too invasive, and I went to bed. I was like, F it, I gotta take it off to get that thing off anyway. For context, I removed the balance shaft in order to remove the torque converter. And it's not like I need this motor, so what does it matter? Anyways, those are all 14 millimeter nuts. They're super, super, super easy to get off with an impact. Once you get that balancer shaft out, it's incredibly easy. You can fit whatever you need to get in there. You just rotate the flywheel. All you have to do is just rotate the flywheel until it's in the right position, and then this is one of the holes that the nuts were holding the torque converter onto. Just rotate the flywheel to get all 4 holes or all 4 nuts, and then you're good to go. That came off incredibly easy after that. I had a trouble with one nut because it was slightly stripped, and because there was oil on the socket, it was slipping. What I did was I just put a rag on the socket, kind of shoved it on the nut, and it worked. So if you ever had that problem, do that. So next step, I'm gonna take that flywheel off, and this is the 2.3 liter flywheel. I don't know if it's different than the 2.5, but I'm taking it off anyway because it makes sense to use this instead because I have a 2.3 liter starter and whatnot. So just take off the 2.3 liter flywheel, put it on the 2.5, which you can see has a spot ready right now. So I'm gonna do that, put it on there, and this is where the serious swaps start happening. We have all these parts like this, and the water pump right there, crank position sensor, we got our crank pulley. That's all gonna start going on the front end of this motor. What I have to do is we're gonna put our timing tools inside the motor to make sure it's timed correctly. So what it is, it's a little plug that goes on the side right here. There's a little plug that goes in the side of the motor right here, and then you take this valve cover off, and at the back of the camshafts, there's a little plate that slides in here. So put that plug in, rotate the motor until the crankshaft hits that plug, okay? And then once it hits that plug, put the 2 slots in the camshaft so it should line up in the back, and you'll be able to put it's a timing plate in between the camshafts, keep those in place. That will keep everything in place. And you have to use both of those tools. It is so important that you use both of those tools because with how these engines are designed, they're all friction held in place. Everything is friction held in place, which is really weird, but that's what they did. The only thing keeping the crankshaft and the camshafts
spinning in synchronization is that bolt, that crank bolt right here, that crank pulley bolt. Once that bolt is loosened, there's no more friction from the bolt forcing the crankshaft sprocket to spin with the crankshaft. This crankshaft can no longer spin in time with the camshaft. So you have to use both timing tools, because once you take that pulley off, everything can move on its own time. You can't, nothing will move together. That's why that motor is a junk motor, even more so than it already was. Because since I've been messing with it and I had the crank pulley off of it, if I were to turn this flywheel right now, the crankshaft would spin, but the camshaft wouldn't. All right, that's because the crank pulley is no longer on there with the crank bolt to hold everything down. It's literally all friction held in place by the force of the crank bolt. You gotta be careful, and that's why 2 timing tools are necessary. And don't undo the crank pulley until you put the timing tools in and everything's all timed up. Like I said, put that plug in, rotate the motor, the crankshaft will hit that plug and it will stop at top dead center or bottom dead center. Once that happens, you can then put the timing plate in the back of the camshaft. And once that's done, you're good to take that off, the crank pulley. What I would suggest though, since applying force on the timing tools is not recommended, I suggest finding a flywheel locker tool, like this one I have on the ground right here. The flywheel locker tool has little teeth, and you just have to lock the flywheel so that you're not putting all the pressure of you taking whatever you're taking off on the timing tools. So if you're not using an impact gun on that pulley, you're using like a breaker bar or something, you're gonna force the motor to spin. And if you're forcing the motor to spin with all that leverage, you're gonna be putting all that force on the timing tool. So just get a flywheel locker. It's like $20 on Amazon. Anyways, I'm gonna get to work on getting this flywheel swapped over. I have to take it off that motor, set that motor down somewhere, and then put it on here. And once I do that, time the motor up, put the timing tools in, take off the crank pulley bolt. I'm gonna take off the crank pulley. I'm gonna take off the timing cover, and then I'm gonna replace the timing cover, because you have to do this too. You have to replace the 2.5 timing cover with the 2.3. You have to use it because it's designed for the 2.3 liter crank pulley, which we have to put on. And you also need to use it because it's designed for the 2.3 liter crank sensor, which cannot fit on the 2.5 liter timing cover. It has to fit on the 2.3. So yeah, it's just another step in the things you have to swap over, but it's really not that hard. The biggest thing that you do not want to fuck up is losing timing of your motor. Make sure you use the timing tools correctly. Remember, put the timing pin in, pin plug, it's a bolt, but it's pretty much just there to stop the crankshaft. And then just rotate the crankshaft until it hits that timing plug. Once that happens, take off the valve cover, slide the timing plate into the back of the camshafts, and your motor is timed. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna stop yapping, I'm gonna get to work and get this done. Okay, so I just got my motor sort of timed up. Here's the little timing pin I've been using. This timing pin comes from this timing kit that I bought off of Amazon for like $40. It's for the 2.0s, the 2.3s, and the 2.5s. Anyways, I used the shortest pen, and I took out the original plug that was in there, this little bolt right here. Took that out, just threaded this in, and then I started turning the motor with my breaker bar. And this is a 22 millimeter bolt. I'm using a 22 millimeter socket. And at first, I was turning it, and I was trying to get these camshafts to line up. You can see they're lined up now, so those slots are parallel with each other. But at first, when I was trying to get them lined up, it was like this, but it was flipped. So these little slots aren't perfectly centered on the camshafts. They're either slightly lower or slightly higher, depending on which way the camshafts are rotated. Anyways, so if you rotate this 180 degrees, so it's flipped over, these little slots will actually be kind of like below the deck of the head. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'll keep going then until it flips all the way over. It wouldn't keep going because every time I go to a different direction, it would hit this thing prematurely and wouldn't let me get past where the slots were underneath the head. So my point is that what you have to do if you run into that same problem is literally just take the pin out and then rotate the crankshaft and then put it back in. Like rotate it maybe like, I don't even know, maybe like you could do like a 1/10. You just gotta get the web that's actually hitting this pin on the crankshaft, you gotta get it past the pin, and then you gotta put it back in. And that way, it's kind of like two halves of the same thing. You put this in on one half, and then you can only go like a certain amount of degrees. You take it out and then turn the crankshaft past where it was getting stuck, and then put it back in, and then you unlock the other half, and then you can turn it the other 180 degrees or whatever the amount it is. Anyways, my point is the slots are below this deck. You can't get it any farther by trying to turn the crankshaft because it keeps hitting that pin. Just take the pin out, turn it a little bit, put it back in, and then it'll let you use the other half of that, I guess, motion that allows you to get the slots above the deck. So anyways, I gotta figure out where my timing tool is. I just had it. This is the right tool here. It comes in the same kit. I just got it on here, but I took it off, see if I can show y'all or get a better fit. But I kind of just slide it from the side, right in there. It's a little hard because you want to get on this part too. Anyways, point is, this is the right tool. Okay, I got my timing tools in. There's one right there. There's one back there. And to help support the crankshaft, the rotation assembly, while I take the crank pulley off, I have the flywheel locker right there. What I'm gonna do is use my impact. I know it's not an impact rated socket, but it's the only 22 socket I have. And I'm gonna get to work on this bolt. Now this is a super tight bolt, so just be patient with it. Use a heat gun, use PB blast, just be patient and get it out. The last thing you want is for it to break. All right, so right here I got my 2.5 and I'm trying to get a 2.3 liter valve cover on there. Everything else should line up. All the bolts should line up. The only thing that might get in your way is this little sensor right here. I think this is for some sort of like heater core or something in the 2.5. But obviously if you're putting this in your Mazda 3, you don't need it. Yeah, I can just unscrew it and take it out. What I used to get it out was a 19 millimeter wrench. And I used the 12 point unopened side, and it was really easy. I just kind of had to get in a spot where it gave me enough leverage to pull on it, and then it just came off. You know, it wasn't really torqued down that much. What I had to do was do that, get it on there, and now I can just twist and unthread it. If anybody worried about doing this, the 2.3 also has the same threaded hole. It just doesn't have this piece in here. So that means there shouldn't be any sort of problem taking this out. Shouldn't be. I guess we'll see whenever we try to start the motor, but there shouldn't be any sort of problem because that motor, the 2.3, already came with this threaded hole right here. So removing this piece means that, you know, having this hole right here won't be a problem because it's already on the 2.3. All right, I just took out the 2.5 oil sump out of my 2.5 liter motor. So here's the 2.5 right here. We got the oil pan off. We also got the crank pulley off. That took a little bit of elbow grease, but we got it off. And right now, you can see there's another oil sump on here. This is the 2.3 liter oil sump. Whenever you put the 2.3 liter oil pan on your engine, make sure you replace the 2.5 liter oil sump for the 2.3 liter oil sump. All right, that's what I did right here, because this one is meant for the 2.3 liter oil pan. It should bolt right in, no problem. Same bolts too. So just put it on there, 2 bolts, torque them down, and then after that, you're ready to get your oil pan on there. All right, so right here, we got the 2.5, we got the 2.3 liter oil pan and the 2.3 liter timing cover on there, and also the 2.3 liter crank pulley. It's all pretty easy. You kind of just take the stuff off the 2.3 and put it all in here. But you can mix bolts, you can use the same bolts. I've had no problem with it so far. One of the biggest things that we just did was the crank pulley. And if you're doing this, get a brand new crank pulley bolt. These bolts are torque to yield, so that means the ones that are either came on your car from factory or have been put in your car already, if they've been torqued down properly, they cannot be used again. And also get some extra washers. There's special washers, the diamond coated washers that are meant for this motor to keep everything friction held in place properly. Anyways, while doing this, you want to torque that bolt down 78 pounds. Okay, and after you do 78 pounds, you want to switch to a breaker bar, and you want to turn it, you want to tighten it another 90 degrees. So we started down here right at this mark, and we went all the way up, a little past this mark, because that wasn't directly 90 degrees, that was more like 80 something. We went to like right here. All right, we got about 90 degrees after that, and it wasn't that bad. We just had a breaker bar and put a metal pipe on it, had my friend hold the motor down, and we just torqued it down like that. And the next thing we're gonna do is after you do that, you're gonna take your timing tools off, and we're going to see if the motor, you know, if the pulley and the rest of the motor is connected properly. So after we take the timing tools out, we should be able to spin the crankshaft, and the camshaft should spin too. So I'm gonna get to that.
Okay, so I never actually recorded the engine turning over, but I can promise you that it turned over no problem, no interference or binding or anything like that. Um, Unfortunately, this is just the cause of my past self not recording everything. Um, as you might have noticed already in the series, it's just because I was so focused on learning how to do the swap and actually finish the swap, since this is my daily driver. I wanted to get it done, that I didn't prioritize recording every single bit. But even the stuff that I did get, I hope it was still very useful to anybody doing this swap. And as always, just leave a comment down below if you have questions, and I will answer them to the best of my ability, because I've taken this engine, the new engine and the old engine, out of the car multiple times now, so I know a thing or two. So yeah, just feel free to ask questions. But this is the end of the video. Not much with this one. The part swap was kind of short. It only took a couple days. Would have taken a lot less longer if I knew what I was doing at first. Now I do, but then I was still learning. So I do hope you did enjoy this video. Otherwise, it was still fun for me to make and watch over my progress. It wasn't as fun because it was just me by myself mostly, not with my friends. Working on the car by yourself can be tiring. But either way, I still enjoyed it, and I really hope you did too. The third part, where we install the engine, the new engine, and get it started and then actually get it running good, will be coming out. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you like this content, please leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out, and it helps me know that you guys are enjoying the videos. And yeah, so I will see you guys later when part 3 comes out.